You know, a Christian would never turn up her nose at entertainment that's interesting, not offensive, and drawn from Scripture. What's that you say? Amazon has a new series based on the biblical story of David? Episode 1 of The House of David, the new John Irwin and John Gunn series, is now streaming on Amazon. Collider praises it, saying, "The Bible has never looked this good on television, and they're not entirely wrong. It's cinematic, intricate, even if it is aiming for a Game of Thrones vibe, with a Lord of the Rings flair. But does it hold up under the lens of truth?" They did include a gem of an opening disclaimer. Some of the events depicted in this series may not accurately represent all historical and biblical facts or figures. While we have made efforts to portray certain aspects of history authentically, creative liberties have been taken for storytelling purposes. So, where will fiction spear the truth, and where does Scripture sling back? There will be spoilers, my friends, so don't watch until you're ready, and with that warning, let's get digging. First, it opens and we're treated to the Goliath fight, or rather a prequel of it. In episode 1, we don't get the full sling showdown yet. That'll come later. But the show teases us with Goliath spearing David. Ugh. I am a bit tired of the whatever period of time earlier hook. We show something and then it's like 6 weeks earlier or 24 hours earlier. I hate that. But I guess the point was to show him getting speared, and that's supposed to freak us out, and there's a problem with this. Because 1 Samuel 17:48-51 says no such thing. David struck the Philistine, killed him with the stone, clean, decisive, no spears. How about we just don't rewrite the battle before it starts? Next up, David's family gets a makeover. His mom is dead, and he's labeled a bastard. He says, "I'm nothing more than a bastard in this house." All right, guys, this is kind of a big one, and I'm sorry to go on a deep dive here, but Psalm 51:5 says, "In sin did my mother conceive me," written by David. This is about universal sin nature, not about illegitimacy. But some have taken this poetic reflection as a possibility that there were questions about David's legitimacy in Jewish tradition. One story suggests that Jesse, David's father, doubted his own wife's fidelity and separated from her at a time, leading to some ambiguity about David's conception. These tales paint David as an outsider, almost rejected by his family, which amplifies his underdog rise. Midrash speculates, sure, but that's not canon. It's not historical or divinely inspired. Where Scripture alone, sola scriptura, sets the standard, the biblical text itself, 1 Samuel 16:11, for example, calls David the son of Jesse without any whiff of scandal. 1 Chronicles 2:13-15 lists him plainly among Jesse's son. There's no canonical evidence in the Old Testament that David was a bastard or born out of wedlock. Oh, and David hears God's voice like his mother. Look, I know he was divinely inspired with the Psalms he wrote, but when David needs guidance, like whether he's got to flee Saul or recover spoils from the Amalekite, he inquires of the Lord, often through a prophet like Gad, or the priestly Urim and Thummim. But more importantly, his mother heard God's voice? No, she didn't. Here's the thing to understand about the divine inspiration of biblical text. It wasn't a dictation. It wasn't a still small voice. It was organic inspiration, where the Spirit worked through the personalities, styles, and experiences of the human authors, but ensured that what they wrote was exactly what God intended. This happened in a unique, unrepeatable way. While the Spirit works in our heart, He doesn't add new revelation. He brings the truth of Scripture alive in us. The still small voice that you hear about in some churches is just about listening to a subjective inner leading, which can easily be manipulated by our thoughts, emotions, and desires. This nod to those people that emphasize the supernatural experiences had some weird mysticism vibes that just were sparking warning fires for me. Then there's Eshbaal, a name coming from 1 Chronicles, which means man of Baal. This is also the same guy, Ishbosheth, which we hear about, and Samuel. They likely changed the name here due to the worship of Baal that started to rise up in the Canaanites, but this name means man of shame. Still, he pops up rather early. 1 Samuel 14:49 lists 3 of Saul's sons and lacks any mention of Eshbaal. He's a later player. He's weak and he's ambitious. After Saul's death, he is made king at 40 years old, which would make him about 20 years younger than Jonathan. Look, I really didn't hate the interplay between these characters as it foreshadows his ambition, but it just felt a little weird to me. The Bible's revealing placement of Eshbaal shows that God delays him for a good reason, and it may have been better to just leave him out. Then we have a lion stalking the family. Like, really? Lions are predators, yes, but humans are natural prey to them. Unless, I guess, they feel threatened, cornered, or desperate, as in sick, injured, or starving, which would make them super weak. They're also stealth hunters. They creep low, staying hidden and waiting until they're close enough to make a quick, powerful attack. I get that there is a possible attempt here to allude to the devil stalking and seeking to devour believers like a roaring lion, which we read about in 1 Peter 5. But Peter's talking about spiritual vigilance and resisting temptation, and I don't get that from what's happening in these scenes. David's solo lion kill in 1 Samuel 17 is enough. He tells Saul he had to fight off a lion and a bear to protect his sheep. The family chase just wasn't needed. Truth is, he kills the lion. The drama of stalking them is just too far. It's drama for drama's sake, and I don't like it. The scene when Samuel gut checks Saul over his disobedience to God, the show has him tell Saul that his mind will be cursed. This is not in Scripture. God simply tears the kingdom away. No mind curse was declared here. Now, there is a mention of an evil spirit, but this is a result of God leaving Saul, not part of Samuel's prophecy. Again, it's just an unneeded addition that really kind of shoots the story in the foot. So back to the lion. In 1 Samuel 17, 34-46, it's clear that David's method of killing the lion involved pursuing it and fighting it directly. He didn't just chase the lion off, but struck it, and then he physically caught it by the beard. This is an incredibly powerful and bold move. This is bravery and strength, showing God's confidence in God's protection and his warrior spirit. This story is significant because David uses this experience with the lion and the bear as a precursor to his battle with Goliath, demonstrating that God had helped him defeat dangerous animals and would help him defeat Goliath as well. But the show barely shows the attack, except David's fear, having him scream after the kill. There's no praise to God. 1 Samuel 17:34 has him say, "The Lord who delivered me." This is a faith-focused statement. It's not visceral. Episode 1's scream seems so opposite of this expression of complete reliance on God for victory. I believe his reaction would have been more one of praise and worship, not just screaming. So, my overall take for the House of David, yeah, it'll hook you. Collider's right. It's got viewer appeal. And I'm kind of actually liking David and Jonathan. I don't know, guys. Let's see how the next episode goes. I'll get back to you, and we'll see if David's sling finds its mark. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below what you think about the episode, or if you're even going to be watching it. Until then, stay salty, my friends, and may the sun shine warm on your face and the shield protect you.